How exciting. All right, so we just did number 5. My apologies to those listening on the YouTube channel, because it means you just missed how we did number 5. But just to remind you, number 5 works just like, I think it was number 3 yesterday. Let me double check that. Yes, it's just like number 3 yesterday. So if you're working on it, go look at your notes from yesterday, and you should be able to figure out how to solve number 5 as well. Now, number 6 looks a lot like yesterday's problem with Dylan, who was getting paid with bananas, right? Now, Dylan was kind of stupid, but David's got skills, man. He's getting paid with chocolate. Now, I'm telling you, if somebody paid me with chocolate, that would be a bad thing. I would look like Jabba the Hutt. I'd be very happy, but I would still look like Jabba the Hutt. Because I'm telling you, if you're going to give me 65 chocolates for every minute I basically get a chocolate, yeah, I'm going to be like so dang fat, it's not even going to be funny. But everyone else around me is going to be skinny because I'm not going to share it. All right, never mind. So let's take a look at this. Remember, we always want to, I see that this looks pretty complicated. So I'm going to read it through the first time, and then I'm going to read through it another time to try to get information out of it, okay? So why don't you read along in your head with me? David gets 65 chocolates an hour for cleaning. He gets a 15% raise. He cleans for 60 hours this week. How many more chocolates will he get this week as a result of his raise? So I'm going to think about that for a minute and think about what I just read. Okay, we're talking about how much he's going to get paid. Now I'm going to read through it again, and I'm going to start taking some notes so that I have some concrete stuff here on paper that I can use to then solve the problem, okay? Now, this may seem tedious to you or boring, but if you want to get these stupid word problems right, and if these things have been like a thorn in your side for your entire life, trust me, this is the way to make them easy. Because once you have those notes, it's no longer a word problem. Now it's just a math problem. So let's look at it. David gets 65 chocolates an hour. 65 chalk per 1 hour. So there's my unit rate, right? Chocolates per hour. He gets a 15% raise. Gets 15% raise. And you can write whatever you want, right? You could just say 15% raise. You could just say plus 15%. It doesn't matter. These are my notes, so I'm writing them this way because this makes sense to me. But whatever kind of shorthand, whatever kind of abbreviations you want to use is fine because you're the one doing the work, right? So however you want to write down the information is up to you. Now, it says he cleans for 60 hours. So he works 60 hours. And it says, how many chocolates will he get this week as a result of his raise? Oh, wait a minute. How many more? So I'm going to write that down. How many more after raise? Now I got to think about what they're actually asking me, okay? So this isn't just a straightforward how many chocolates did he get in total, is it? What does it say they want to know? Becca's like, I don't got a clue. What do you guys think? What do they want us to find out? I'm checking the chat. What are they trying to find out?
The amount of chocolate he gets, the amount of chocolate he gets in 60 hours after the race.
There you go. Yeah. So what they're saying is, okay, he worked 60 hours. That's great. And before it was 60 times 65, right? That's what it would have been, right? This was before. And then after, it would have been 65 times 0.15 times 60, right? Does that make sense? Because the raise was on the hourly rate, right? It didn't give him credit for more hours. It was an hourly rate increase, right? So then it wants me to take the after and subtract from it the before. Do you see that? Does that make sense? Do you see what I did there? Give me a thumbs up if you understand. There you go. Thank you, Joseph. I like how you said that. Joseph said, how many more than normal? That's a great way to phrase it, Joseph. I like that. Abriel said, how many chocolates he gets after the raise. Yep. So we're going to calculate. This is how much he gets now. And this is how much he got before. So we're going to take the after minus the before, and that'll give us the answer. Questions on that? Pop something in the chat. Raise your hand. If you got a question, Ashlyn, what do you think?
Oh, never mind. I figured it out.
You already figured it out? Great. No questions on this? You guys just gonna be lazy and let me work it for you, huh? I guess you feel like you got run over by a truck too. It's all good. Let's take a look at this. Now, to be perfectly honest, I'm not interested in doing this by hand. So I'm gonna do this on my calculator on my phone. 65 times 0.15 is 9.975. Wait a minute. Oh, you know what? I made a mistake here. This should have been plus something else. This is actually the amount of the raise, isn't it? I just realized that as I was looking at it, that I wasn't looking at it very clearly. I forgot to add in this amount. So we don't have to do this. We could just do this, right? Because this is the actual amount of just the raise, isn't it? I screwed up there. But I caught it, right? So isn't that the important part? Okay. So this tells me that the raise part was 9.75 chocolates per hour. Do you guys see that? Give me a thumbs up right now if you understand what I just did. I apologize that I made a mistake. It happens. Okay, Eliana, thank you. Becca, thank you. Thank you, Abrielle. Thank you, Peyton. Thank you, Umit. All right, I got Denise on board. Thank you, Kendra. Daniel, does it make sense to you what I just did? Okay, thank you, Joseph. So now this is how much I got, how much he got as a raise. And then I'm just going to multiply this by the number of hours he worked, right? So now I have 975, and I'm going to multiply it by 60, and I get 585 chocolates. Dang. That's a lot of candy. Even if those are just Hershey Kisses, that's a lot of candy. That's like, I think one of those big bags that are like, you know, that one of those huge bags you can see like on the top shelf at the grocery store. Those are like, those have like 300 pieces of candy. And can you imagine? Let's see how many chocolates he got in total. So he got a base of 60 times 65. Oh my God. So he got 3,900 chocolates originally, and then his raise gave him another almost 600. This guy is going to be so dang fat. So he got almost 4,500 pieces of chocolate for working 60 hours. Okay. I'm thinking this must be some kind of a job that must have money invested in treating diabetes, because this guy's going to have diabetes. I'm telling you right now, you eat 4,500 pieces of chocolate, yeah, you're not going to be doing so well, right? So do we understand this? Does this make sense how we did that one? Yeah? I don't see anyone looking terrified, so I'm going to assume it's okay. All right. Wow. Wow. Okay. Now, I have to laugh. Does anyone who has any knowledge of Spanish know anyone who's named Caballero as a name? Of course not, because it's a title, isn't it? I love it. I don't mean I really love it. I think it's hilarious when white people try to put other ethnic people's names in a question and they aren't smart enough to know that that's not actually a name. I mean, that'd be like somebody who speaks Spanish saying officer gets 65 chocolates per hour. And all the people that speak English are going, what? That's not a person's name. Well, neither is caballero. Anyway, I just think that's funny. I guess they get points for trying, right? All right, so this person, caballero, purchases a toy car for $6 and $6 3/4 and spends $2.50 on ice cream. If he has a starting balance of $10, how much money does Caballero have left? Sweet Jesus, every time I read that, it makes me feel sad a little bit on the inside. It's like, really? Okay. So we've got someone who's buying some stuff and we want to know how much money they have left over, right? Do you get the gist that that's what this is about? So let's look at it again. A toy car was $6. I'm just going to immediately convert it to decimals because I prefer working with decimals. Yeah, Ashlyn, what?
Aren't we gonna like add those together and then subtract them by 10?
You are all over that. You are all over that. That is exactly what we're going to do because that makes sense, doesn't it? Let's see. I don't remember if Denia was in here before. Yeah, she was. Okay. So, and then the ice cream was $2.5, right? 2.5, 2.5. And he started with 10. Well, aren't we just going to add these two together and subtract them from 10 to find out how much money he has left over? Right? We've done lots of problems like this. We do these kind of problems all the time in our head, don't we? When we go to the movie theaters. Of course, I vaguely remember what it feels like to go to a movie theater. It's only been like a friggin' year, right? I think I'm trying to think what the last movie I saw was. My wife and I were disagreeing on it. I think the last movie I saw was 1917. And it feels like it was 1917 the last time I went to a movie, too, to be perfectly honest. Oy. So if I take 10.00 and and now I could add these together and then subtract them, or I can subtract them one by one. So let's try one by one. Oh gosh, I hate these things. How many of you hate when you got a 10 and you got to borrow like this? I hate this. It's so funny. You know how there's that one thing in math that you can never remember how to do, even though you've been taught it like a million times, and for some reason your brain just can't quite connect it. This is the one. I swear to God, I'm 58 years old and I still have to stop and think about how I'm going to do this because I never learned this right when I was in elementary school and my brain never quite comprehended it. So I have to actually look at this stupid thing every time I go, okay, now what are we actually doing here? Well, actually, this is 1,000, right? If you ignore the decimal point. And what I really want is 9,000. I want 990 and 10, right? Because that would still make 1,000, right? Isn't that what I'm really trying to do? I mean, literally, I have to think through this every time I do this thing. I can never remember it, swear to God. So this is going to be 9, a 9, and this is going to be a 10, right? Does that make sense, guys? Because we're trying to convert 1,000 so we have 10 in the ones place, right? So 10 minus 5 is 5. 9 minus 7 is 2. 9 minus 6 is 3. Okay, now I still need to subtract my 2.5, right? Now I'm going to put another 0 here because frankly, it makes my life a lot easier, okay? Now, let's subtract again. 5 minus 0, 5. Now remember, now you're going to make fun of me when I say this, but I have people that do this. Remember that when you're doing this stuff, you got to start at the top and move down. Now you say, oh, come on, Mr. Easley, it's subtraction. And I will tell you that on a regular basis, I see people doing 0 minus 5 just because like the number down here is bigger and they don't want to borrow. So I'm not being a hater. I'm just saying, look, I've seen this. So remember, I start at the top, I subtract the bottom number. Now I've got 2 and 5. So I have to borrow from here, 12 and 75. So he has 75 cents left, which looks about right, right? Because this is really close to 7, and this is almost 3. Well, 3 plus 7 is 10. So we know we got pretty close numbers to what we're working on, right? And for those of you that just came back into the room with us, I'm recording this right now. So I will post this on my YouTube channel. So have no fear. If you feel like, oh my God, I missed out on something, you haven't missed out on it, you're all good, okay? So that's number 7. Ms. Knipper, we were joking about the fact that I could tell that a white person made this worksheet because they named a person Caballero instead of realizing that that's not a name, it's a title. And I thought, yeah, good try, but yeah.
That's funny.
This is somebody who probably lives in the Midwest, and they see white people and they see black people, and they don't really see anyone else. So they have no concept about what to do with Spanish, which is sad, but you know, we only know what we have. We only know what we have experience with, right? I mean, so sometimes it's perfectly innocent when people are ignorant. There are times that people say things about another group of people when they really don't have the knowledge, and they're like, well, this is what I thought. It's kind of weird. Did you know that they have done things like taking someone who's a KKK member and hooking them up with a black person and making them get to know each other? And you find out that the KKK guy has never actually met a black person, ever talked to them, and that the black person has actually never talked to a KKK member. And they've done documentaries on this stuff where these two people are like, you're nothing like what I thought you would be. And they both felt that way. They both realized that they were listening to somebody's propaganda for so long that they realized that they had actually no experience with this other person that they, you know, had been taught to hate. Isn't that interesting? I think that's really fascinating. All right. Okay, number 8. There is a free prize drawing. Woohoo! Ms. Knippen's going to be there. Anything that's free,
Right.
Ms. Knippen will show up for, I promise you. And there is a free prize drawing in a shopping mall. There are some youngsters and older people, okay? Is any of this information important yet? This is just like, okay, this is fluff. Let's get to the heart of it. The result of the number of winning people is shown below. Which group had the higher percentage of winners between youngsters and older people? Youngsters, that's definitely Midwest. Have you ever heard the word youngsters used down here? No, they don't use that down here much. Not down here very much. I've never heard anyone say youngsters down here. Now up north in Midwest, man, that's like one of those terms we use all the time. Oh, look at all the youngsters out there playing in the park. Down here, it's like, look at those kids, or they might say niños or something like that, but I've never heard youngsters. Anyway, I think it's interesting. Okay, so 30 older people won washing machines out of 60. So that's going to be 30 out of 60, right? Remember, that's how we write it. It's like a ratio. And this is going to be 1/2, right? Because 30. So 30 out of 60 is 1/2, which is 0.5, which is 50%, right? So this is old. Then we're going to do young. 45 out of 60. 45 out of 60. Okay, so now I have to figure out what this is. What can someone help me with figuring out what 45 out of 60 would be as a decimal? What do you think, Peyton?
0.75.
Yeah, it's going to be 3/4, which will be 0.75, which will be 75%. So which one had the higher percentage? Obviously the youngsters, right? Because they had 75% of the kids that entered won. I don't know what they're doing a drawing. Usually, you know, I don't know about you, but you know, most laws say that kids can't enter those kind of things. Did you know that there's laws on most state books that say children can't enter into drawings like that? Isn't that interesting? Yeah, they do. They got to where you've got to be like 18 to enter into most of these things because it's effectively a contract. Because they're not going to just give you something away. They're not just going to give something away for free, right? There's always a catch, right? They want you to do something for them. All right, now here's what I'm going to ask you to do. I'm going to ask you guys to do 9 and 10 for homework tonight. Could you do that for me? That's not too much, right? Just do 9 and 10 for me, and let's just see how you do, okay? Am I expecting you to get them right? Is it going to be a requirement to get it right? No. What I'm looking for is you to give your best shot, take a look at what we've done already and say, okay, I'm going to work these two and I'm going to read through it. I'm going to read what's going on and then I can look at my notes. Number 9 looks a lot like like 2 previous problems that we worked. And number 10 looks like number 7, doesn't it? It's about somebody buying some stuff and how much money do they have left? Or how much money did they have to begin with? So I want you to do 9 and 10 for me, all right? If you want to work on them right now, we still have like, what, 10 minutes left, right? Don't we get out of here at 20 after? Or 14 after or something? So let's work on these right now. I want you guys to start working on number 9. And then 9 and 10 will be homework for tonight, right? If you guys don't have this sheet in front of you, I'll just go ahead and leave it up here so that you're able to look at it and see what the questions are. Thank you, Janaya. I thought that's what it was. If you have a question, just unmute yourself and bark it out, all right? Because I'm not going to be scanning the screen for the next 10 minutes. All right. Yeah, if you're finished, you can leave. Yeah, that's fine. So if you're still not sure about it, why don't you go look at one of the previous problems and see if you can figure it out from there. If you're still having issues with it, then we can I can answer some questions on it. But take a look at the problems we did. Number 9 is like number 6, and number 10 is like number 7. So look at the work we did on those two, and see if you can figure out how to do it. Okay. Daniel, you awake back there? You're thinking heavily, huh? You're supposed to be working heavily. Sit up, bum. You lazy bum. So Miss Knippen, I'm doing for my exploratory class, I told each of my kids in that class to tell me one area of math that they really struggle in. And I'm going to split up days in the week to do different focuses for math. And then those will be that kid's asynchronous days. And then the rest of them will be async kind of thing. And that way I can work on them with some of their base skills that they're still struggling with. Kind of a neat idea, don't you think? So I can kind of group them together and do like a study group. You're muted, so I can't hear you.
Yeah, like, sorry, I don't know what's going on with the computer, but first the screen was really small. So it's really big and like anyway. Yeah, no, what I found really is this idea of that's why most of the goals that I write are quantities less than one, because I really think that our elementary kids have this really um this really good conceptual understanding of numeracy in those, because they make them draw those silly little pictures all the time.
Right.
And then we get away from that and then they forget. They're like, what is this? Sort of stuff. So I really like the idea of going back and really working on this idea of fraction, decimal, percent, and this idea of, how much is that really, like, and relating it to.
I even had some kids that were saying, I need help with multiplication or division. And I'm like, great, let's do that.
Yeah.
I'm just like.
Miss Faulkner actually found that her honors kids couldn't divide anymore because they had gone past that and it wasn't reviewed again. And it really is it's a very laborious process, division, so she was giving him like, basic, I don't know, 2 digits into 4-digit division. And
Right.
they were just having a time with it, definitely like a huge time with it. So
Right.
yeah. Nope.
I'm going to
We
try
get better
that out.
at what we practice.
I think what I'll do is I'll set up a schedule. So like Mondays will be multiplication, Tuesdays will be division. And then, and that way, if a kid wants to come and work on all of them, they can decide to come there and be a part of all of it. But other than that, they can come on the day that's their day. And the rest of it will be asynchronous, where they need to show up for attendance, and then they can work on their other classwork or work on the assignment that week.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah, so I told them I'm going to give them each one assignment a week. So they'll only have one assignment for my exploratory. And I said, if I have to make a bunch of different worksheets, so I don't give a crap. We'll just do that. And
yeah, no, that makes so much sense.
So I'm going to do that.
Hey, so for kiddo, I think it's a great idea. So YS today,
Yeah,
I guess this, and I'm just like, I mean, we can, but there needs to be, I guess, some sort of understanding that she would need to do a whole bunch of schedule changey stuff. And
so we'll talk about,
I don't know.
We'll talk about it during the IEP today. What, 4th period?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's today, right?
It is today, to my knowledge. I reminded her yesterday and she said, oh yeah, mom remembers. So it hopefully will be good. So.
All right. That shouldn't be a problem. Any questions, guys? Are you doing okay on them? Yeah, Malachi, you're good. Once you're done, you can kick off, bud. Yeah, because the 4 things that I got were multiplication, division, decimals, and fractions. Duh.
Yep.
Right?
I'm done.
You're done? Then take off, girl. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye. Have a good day.
You too, sweetie.
You too,
Thanks
sweetie.
for coming. And I kept ragging on all my kids. I said, you haven't given me one yet. Well, I'm not sure. We'll get sure. Tell me what you need to work on. You're not leaving until I hear from you, because I want to make sure I can actually. I mean, last quarter, to be honest, my exploratory class was a joke because it got thrown on me, right a little bit into 2nd quarter, and I was like, okay, now I have 6th graders in this class. Don't know. Yeah, Kendra.
You were freezing when you were saying it, so right now I could do 9 and 10 or 8.
Just do 9 and 10, sweetie.
Okay.
I'm gonna post that on the Teams page too. Where did that go? Okay, Teams. Okay. Questions. and 10. I had an opportunity to talk to Mrs. Gage yesterday. She felt really bad
Oh,
for her students that they didn't have a teacher for them. She said, "Tell my kids that I feel really bad for them. That I'm sad that they didn't get a
oh.
teacher." Yeah.
Well, she thought she was leaving them with one. I think we all did at the end of the year. Like, so.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't understand how they even managed to let them apply with that sort of a scenario, like like there should have been some sort of district screening where if the situation was that that they didn't have if they couldn't move, they shouldn't have even applied. And it says that right on the application. Usually it'll be like, this is for, outside of district employees. So it's
And most of
interesting.
the time at this time of the year, they don't even let those people apply, right? Like you were saying, HR is supposed to weed those out and say, we're not allowing transfers unless there's a big hairy deal.
Well, and to be honest, though, like I had a friend, I mean, when I first started, I was dual certified, and my application sat on somebody's desk for I can't even tell you how long. And, they couldn't find it and they couldn't this. And basically it was buried under a bunch of paperwork. It was very, very silly. Very, very silly. So.
All right, guys, I'm going to take off here. Ashley, you got a question?
Go ahead, sorry.
No, you got a question?
I was just gonna say that like I feel like I worked better today than I did yesterday because it was like the first day back from break.
Oh,
And I just
yeah.
wasn't motivated.
Yeah, well, you
So-
notice I didn't give you any work to do yesterday. Basically, you just had to kind of listen and take notes and kind of just see what you could figure out, right?
Yeah,
That's why we're not going to have homework until probably Wednesday, because I
it
know.
makes a lot more sense now.
Well, you know what? And my brain's like mush right now. And I figure if I'm 58 and I deal with a lot of crap all the time and my brain's like mush, I'm pretty sure that all you guys are like feeling like you could barely breathe, right? So
Yeah.
I just want to be able to help you guys out,
Yeah.
All right, y'all.
Oh wait, will we put that up one more time? Sorry.
Go ahead. What now?
Will you please put that up one more time? I'm gonna do it. I
Yeah.
just need a picture of it.
It's in the assignments area,
Teams.
sweetie.
Oh, I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
go ahead. It's fine. Either way, whatever works for you, sweetie. I don't care. Darling, I'm willing to do dang near anything for you. You're such a great kid and you work so doggone hard.
And you're
Thank
so
you.
reflective. I
Did
feel
you-
that I did better today than yesterday. Like, so few people like do that.
All right,
It's
y'all.
awesome.
I am
All right.
gonna go get ready for my next
Later.
class.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Have a great day.